I know. I know you've been hurt, and I'm not going to pretend that what happened to Halo doesn't matter or that your frustration isn't completely justified, because if you've been a Halo fan for the last decade, you've earned the right to be skeptical. My name's HoloTide, and if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you leave a like down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. I love talking about Halo, and I could be your third favorite Halo YouTuber. All you have to do is hit the sub button. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really do believe that we can do it. And if we do hit it, I will attempt to do a backflip off my roof, and who doesn't want to see that? Alright, let's be honest about something that fans have known for years, and that's 343 Industries struggled. And I don't mean that they made a few mistakes, I mean they fundamentally misunderstood what made Halo special over and over again. Now this isn't to say that everybody at 343 didn't love Halo or didn't understand Halo. I just think there were key members of that leadership team that just didn't quite understand what made it so special. Looking at Halo Infinite, when it launched in November of 2021, it had over 270,000 concurrent players on Steam. But within months, that number had collapsed to around 2,000. That's not a stumble, that's an honest freefall. The game was supposed to be a 10-year platform, a live service that would keep evolving. Instead, it launched without basic features that have been in Halo games for 20 years, from co-op campaign, forge mode, proper lobbies where players could talk to each other before and after matches, the lack of maps, the playlist. It all made the multiplayer feel empty. And quite honestly, it was super unfortunate to see that happen to that game. And then came January 2023, when Microsoft laid off 10,000 employees. 343 was hit particularly hard, with more than 10% of the studio being laid off. Some reports suggested even more than that. But these weren't just numbers, these were people who loved Halo. One former developer, Patrick Wren, said it plainly: the layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top. He went on to say the people I worked with every day were passionate about Halo and wanted to make something great for fans. They helped push for a better Halo and got laid off for it. I want you guys to think about that for a second. That's something that I think is lost when people talk about 343 and Halo. The people who wanted to make Halo great, who fought for it internally, were the ones who lost their jobs, while the leadership that mismanaged the franchise remained. Joe Staten, the creative director who joined in 2020 specifically to rescue Halo Infinite, left the studio, and that was such a major blow. Bonnie Ross, the studio head for 15 years, departed in 2022. This wasn't just restructuring now, this was a studio that was in crisis. So what went wrong? Multiple developers and journalists pointed to the same issues. Inadequate tools, heavy reliance on short-term contractors who had to leave after 18 months, and unclear direction from leadership. The Slipspace engine, 343's proprietary software, had components that were almost 25 years old. It required massive resources just to maintain, let alone innovate with. And here's something that maybe hurts the most, and according to those who worked on it, Microsoft and 343 set Halo Infinite up to fail. It was built as a live service platform without the resources nor the foresight to ever achieve its original vision. It seems the game wasn't just broken by accident, it was broken by design, by corporate decisions that prioritized the wrong things. So yeah, if you're angry, be angry. That anger is earned. But here is where the story shifts, at least to myself, because after the collapse, after the layoffs, after the public criticism, I think something unexpected actually happened. 343 didn't just patch wounds, they acknowledged the entire approach was broken. In October of 2024, the studio rebranded as Halo Studios, and the new studio head, Pierre, said that if you really break it down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie, Chapter 2, 343. Now, I think we have an audience which is hungry for more. And here's something that I think a lot of people miss out on. This is not PR spin. That is an admission that the 343 era didn't work, and that they are moving on. A lot of people will say it's just a rebrand, it's just a new name for the studio. I honestly, 1000% do not believe that. With the amount of people that have been laid off or left the studio, with the change in leadership, I really do think that the philosophy there has changed. Now, whether or not that works out in the end is, it remains to be seen. They're moving to the Unreal Engine 5. They're restructuring how they make games, how they hire, and how they think about Halo's future. They acknowledge that the way they made Halo games before doesn't work as well for the way we want to make games for the future. I don't think that this is a studio that's doubling down on failure. This is a studio that finally understands it needs to fundamentally change. Now, I'm not asking you to forgive 343 for what has happened. I'm not asking you to forget the years of frustration, the broken promises, the friends who stopped playing, the community that scattered. But I am asking you to consider this. Failure, when it's acknowledged and learned from, can be the beginning of something better. The studio seems to adopt a new philosophy that they should do more and say less. Pierre said, "For me, I really think it's important that we continue the posture which we have right now when it comes to our franchise. The level of humility, the level of servitude towards Halo fans. That word, humility, is everything. Because for years, 343 seemingly acted like they knew better than the fans, like they could reinvent Halo without understanding what made it Halo in the first place. And now, they're admitting they got it wrong, and maybe, just maybe, that's the first step towards getting it right." And then, in October of 2025, came the announcement no one saw coming. Actually, no, that's a lie. Everybody saw this coming. Halo Campaign Evolved, a complete remake of the original game, was coming to PlayStation 5 in 2026. For the first time in nearly 25 years, Halo will no longer be exclusive to Xbox and PC. This is a huge deal. It's a long time coming. And now even more players will get to partake in the Halo franchise. Let that sink in. The franchise that defined Xbox exclusivity is opening its doors. Now, this remake will feature a 4-player co-op campaign across all platforms, 2-player split screen on consoles, crossplay, shared progression between Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. There are going to be 3 brand new prequel missions starring Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson. 9 additional weapons from across the series is being added. The ability to hijack enemy vehicles for the first time in the original campaign is being added. This isn't just a remaster. This is Halo Studios saying we're starting over, we're going back to what worked, and we're inviting everyone to be a part of it. That being said, there are some issues with the remake. I have a video talking about what I think needs to be changed, some of the feedback. If you guys want to check that video out, I'll leave it in the description, but I think it's a pretty good video. So I want to tell you why I think it's okay to have hope again. Not because Halo Studios has proven themselves, they haven't yet. Not because everything is fixed, because it's not. But because hope isn't about blind trust. Hope is about giving something you love one more chance to become what it could be. Somewhere out there, there's a kid who's never played Halo before. Maybe they're on PlayStation, maybe they're on PC, maybe they've only heard stories about what Halo used to be. And in 2026, they're gonna step out of that escape pod for the first time. They're gonna see the ring stretching across the sky. They're gonna hear those Gregorian monk chants swell, and for them, it won't be about what 343 has done wrong. It will be Halo. And if Halo Studios can deliver on that promise, if they can make Halo feel like Halo again, then maybe they'll also bring back some of the magic for those of us who have been here all along. I'm not saying you owe 343 anything. You don't. I'm not saying you owe Microsoft anything, because you don't. But maybe you owe yourself the permission to actually have hope. Because the alternative, cynicism, bitterness, walking away, that doesn't really protect you. It just closes the door on the possibility that things might actually get better. Halo Studios is working on multiple new Halo games. They're hiring new talent, they're restructuring their processes. Will they succeed? I don't know. But I know this, the people working there now didn't make mistakes of the past. They're trying to fix them. And if we're never going to give them the chance to prove themselves, then we're guaranteeing that Halo stays broken. So after everything, after the failures, the layoffs, the heartbreak, the years of watching something you love, struggling to survive, I think that fire is still burning. Halo isn't gone, it's evolving now, and maybe after all this time, the evolution is exactly what it needed. Now, I'm not saying you can't love Halo 4 or Halo 5 or Halo Infinite. There are aspects of all those games that I absolutely adore, and I'm sure there are many fans out there that can say the same. I'm not arguing that Bungie is better than 343 or Halo Studios now. That's not what this video is about. This is about having the smallest flicker of hope returning, and I don't think that people should just push it away. I think that we should, as a community, let it grow. One of my favorite Halo commercials of all time ended with just one word, and that was believe. And I think it's okay to believe in Halo again. It's okay to have hope for Halo again. Now, if this made you feel any type of emotion, whether it is hope, it's anger, nostalgia, please share it in the comments down below. I read every single one because every conversation about what Halo could be brings it one step closer to becoming that. We've stayed with this franchise through the best and worst of times, not because it was perfect, but because I think it really does matter. And quite honestly, I think it's about to matter a lot more again. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like down below. You can yell at me and tell me all the things that I got incorrect and wrong and why I'm stupid in the comments, and I read every single one of them. Just keep it a little respectful and leave a like on the video, and I will catch you guys around the ring. Peace!